2024, solar cell players have had a stellar run this year, with stocks of Premier Energies, Waaree Energies and Tata Power rallying up to 170%. Vivek Iyer decodes the rally and what lies ahead.
Well, one particular pocket of the market that did very well in 2024 was the entire solar value chain. Just have a look at some of the companies that are involved in solar cell module manufacturing and see the kind of returns that they've given to the shareholders. Now, this particular stellar rally can be attributed to several key factors. As India continues to push towards ambitious renewable energy targets, there has been a substantial increase in domestic demand for solar products. Remember, the USA too has seen an increasing demand for solar energy solutions as part of its broader clean energy transition. The Inflation Reduction Act, passed in 2022, includes significant incentives for clean energy production, including solar power. Both India as well as the USA are keen on reducing their dependence on Chinese imports, particularly in sectors like solar energy, given the fact that the US has concerns over its supply chain security, intellectual property, as well as its ongoing trade tensions with China. These particular tensions have driven a desire to diversify sources of solar products. India, on the other hand, is positioning itself as an alternative supplier, benefiting from the global desire to avoid over-reliance on China. Both the USA as well as India have implemented policies to curb the influx of cheap Chinese solar products into their market. Remember, players in the India's solar sector are quite optimistic about growth prospects, driven by a strong order pipeline as well as expansion plans. Remember, Premier Energy has reported a significant order book worth approximately 4,000 crore rupees. Waaree Energy plans to increase its manufacturing capacity from 13 gigawatt to 21 gigawatt by the end of FY27, while Tata Power reported a strong order book of 15,900 crore rupees in its solar EPC business. Its cell as well as module manufacturing capabilities are also being ramped up as far as Tata Power is concerned. Now, talking about the entire solar value chain, remember, China controls 90% of the world's solar module as well as cell manufacturing capacity. This makes China the dominant player as far as the global supply chain is concerned. Solar manufacturers are actively looking for alternate routes to enter the global markets. Remember, pricing as far as solar modules are concerned in China are at a very competitive 9 to 10 cents per watt, owing to the country's massive manufacturing capacity, economies of scale, as well as cost efficiencies. Now, remember, when you're talking about India, the prices are much higher at 16 to 17 cents per watt, and the USA prices are significantly higher at around 25 cents per watt. Remember, when you're talking about ongoing capacity addition, India's largest conglomerate, Reliance, is on track to commission its first tranche of its solar PV manufacturing by the end of FY25. Also plans to scale up its solar manufacturing capacity to 20 gigawatt by CY26. Adani Group too plans to increase solar manufacturing capacity to 10 gigawatt by 2027. Remember, not only them, other players too have evinced interest to set up facility as India's solar manufacturing sector expands rapidly. However, several crucial questions arise concerning the sustainability of current industry dynamics and the challenges that will be posed by increased competition. Remember, India's solar manufacturers, along with their counterparts in the US, are benefiting from a price arbitrage advantage in comparison to global markets, particularly that by China. In markets like the USA, tariffs on Chinese-made solar products have made domestic production more competitive, benefiting the Indian exporters. The Indian government has introduced import duties on solar panels and cells, particularly from China, to protect the domestic manufacturing industry. To promote domestic manufacturing, ALMM is a critical regulatory safeguard that ensures only approved solar manufacturers' products are used in government-supported projects. Analysts, however, are worried about the supply glut in coming years. Will spreads Indian players enjoy be impacted? As the table indicates, when you're talking about valuations, Indian players are actually enjoying a significant premium to global peers, both in India as well as China. Remember, some of the listed peers in other markets enjoy larger product portfolios. Some global players also own separate polysilicon as well as ingot as well as wafer facilities. So going into 2025, it will be a cautious stance that analysts will keep as far as the entire solar value chain is concerned.
So Vivek, they're outlining what solar cell players can expect in 2025. But India's automobile industry has more than tripled in size in the last decade. As the industry aims to get on par with global peers, a shift towards cleaner fuels is necessary to maintain sustainability. Sudarshan Kumar has more on the industry's bid to move away from fossil fuels.
In 1983, India's automobile revolution was ignited with the launch of Maruti 800. Affordable, reliable and aspirational. It became the people's car, and since then, India's automobile industry grew exponentially. Today, India is the third largest automobile market globally. In last 10 years, the industry has tripled in value, from rupees 7 lakh crore in 2014 to rupees 22 lakh crore in 2024. But even with this growth, we are only half the size of China and a quarter of the US market. The goal to surpass both within the next decade.
Now in world, USA is number one. They have the size of auto industry of 78 lakh crores. China is 47 lakh crores and India is 22 lakh crore. Now we have a target that within 10 years, we will be number one in the world because of alternative fuel and biofuel.
And how will we do it? The answer lies in a new kind of fuels. The shift will be driven by three key factors. First, emission targets. India aims to cut carbon emissions intensity by 45% by 2030. Second, reducing fuel imports. Did you know that India imports 90% of its crude oil, spending $71 billion annually? Third is cost savings. Clean fuel vehicles are cheaper to operate. For instance, running a CNG vehicle costs just rupees 1 per kilometer compared to rupees 2.25 for petrol. So what are those alternative fuels that will drive the future? First up, electric vehicles or EVs. India's EV market is set to grow from $23 billion in 2024 to $118 billion by 2032. The government's target? 80 million electric vehicles on Indian roads by 2030. But EVs aren't the only players in the game. Hybrids are bridging the gap. These vehicles combine electric power for short trips and fuel for longer journeys. They are cost-efficient, eco-friendly, and ideal for a gradual transition to clean energy. Next up is ethanol. India is aggressively pushing for ethanol-blended petrol, targeting 20% blending by 2025. Brazil serves as a global example, using ethanol to replace up to 20% of its petrol imports, with 80% of its cars running on ethanol-blended fuel. Brazil has significantly cut its oil dependence. India could follow a similar path. We also have CNG and LNG. They are cleaner and more affordable alternatives to petrol and diesel, and their adoption is growing rapidly. Sales of CNG passenger vehicles surged by more than 30% year-on-year in the first half of FY25, and the market is expected to grow at a CAGR of almost 7% in next 6 years. Last is hydrogen, the fuel of the future. Clean, versatile, and sustainable. It's a game changer for heavy vehicles like trucks and buses.
Hydrogen is the future. And the green hydrogen is the future. Because by electrolyzer process making hydrogen, for 1 kg of hydrogen we need 150 unit of power. Now the municipal waste are by using biotechnology generating biomass using for getting it methane in biodigester, and from that methane we can convert into hydrogen or we can convert into CNG.
2025 is not just another year. It's the year when clean fuels take the driver's seat in India's automobile story. Over 40 new car models are expected to hit the Indian roads in 2025. And guess what? Only 20% of them will run on petrol or diesel, and that too with most of them having the hybrid option. The future of mobility is here, and it's cleaner than ever. Electric vehicles or EVs are set to dominate 2025. From Maruti to Tata, Mahindra to Mercedes, every major automaker is going all in on EVs. The goal? To accelerate towards 30% EV adoption by 2030. And that is up from just 6% today. But EVs aren't driving the change alone. Ethanol-powered vehicles are making headlines. As per Roads Minister Nitin Gadkari, big names like Tata, Mahindra and Hyundai are set to launch 100% ethanol-powered cars within the next 6 months. Meanwhile, CNG is steadily solidifying its place as a preferred fuel option in India's green mobility shift. In 2025, Honda is set to join Maruti, Tata and Hyundai in offering CNG-powered models. Tata will introduce the Curvv in a CNG variant, while Maruti plans to launch next-generation CNG versions of its popular Ertiga and Brezza. Adding to the momentum, Honda is expected to unveil a CNG variant of its Amaze sedan. The future of India's roads is not just about speed, it's about sustainability. It's the year clean fuels go mainstream.
All right, Sudarshan, thank you for taking us through what the future looks like for India's auto industry, which is a move away from fossil fuels. But with that, it is a wrap on this special edition. The news continues right here on CNBC-TV18.